All right. This video is about using VS Code, Visual Studio Code, how to install it, and specifically how to set it up to do local web development. All right. That is it. Local documentation, web development, or whatever you want, right? That's all it is. We're not going to get into all of the side quests that you can do with this. That is the primary goal here. So we're gonna go get VS Code. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Visual Studio space Code. Do not forget code, people. This is the one you want. At least one person is going to say, why aren't you using Codium? Because I don't care about Codium. Just use VS Studio Code. It's fine. Don't let anybody tell you differently. If you care, then you can use that instead. But right now, just use VS Studio Code. You'll be good to go. You download for Windows, download for Mac, download for whatever. It's using a technology called Electron, which allows it to be used everywhere. There's another video about editors and why your editor might suck and which one you should use that justifies the selection of this editor as your first editor. I'm not going to show you how to download and click on the install thing and then accept all those things. You can know how to do that. That's pretty basic. Codium is supposed to be privacy oriented and debloated. The problem is it doesn't get updated as quickly as this does. So that's an issue. Same with Chrome. It's the reason I use Chrome instead of Chromium. Chromium has been, I don't want to talk about it. That's a separate video. So this is the one we're installing. And once you have that installed, then you can run it. Now, we've talked about this in another video, but the way I run everything is using what I call search-centric commands, which means that I tap, in this case, the Windows key, and I type Visual Studio Code, which then pops up, and I hit enter. It's much faster to do that than to go to my mouse and click around and find the thing that I'm going to run. So this is Visual Studio Code, uncustomized Visual Studio Code. You can tell that there's nothing here. You can read all the stuff that you want to. This changes every time, so but the method of installing, the method of starting up has not changed. But the main piece of this for web development that I want to show you, I'm going to go ahead and close the welcome thing. You can become familiar with this on your own. You're an autodidact. You don't need me to tell you everything, right? You should be experimenting with this and coming up with your own things and everything. So I encourage you to do that. I'm not going to do all of that experimentation with you right now. There's only one key requirement that I want to show you for web development, and that is in the extensions box right here. If you search, it actually might come up as one of the most popular ones. It's right here. It's called LiveServer. Okay. And some of these other extensions you might want to use depending on different purposes. We are not going to be doing Python or Jupyter's for machine learning, Python-y, Jupyter Notebook kind of people. We're not going to be using any of these other things. Now, you might choose to use them, but again, this is for web development. And I personally believe LiveServer is required for this. There is another technology that I also like called Browser Sync. But in order to use that, you need to know how to use the terminal. And at this point, we're not assuming you know the terminal. I'm assuming the only thing you know is VS Code. You don't know the terminal yet. Now, when you do know the terminal, I may discuss with you another technology called Browser Sync, which allows you to preview your web apps and web documents on multiple devices at the same time. And I actually have a video of me with a phone, an iPad, and a computer all at the same time, simultaneously previewing the development as I'm doing it, which is phenomenally amazing if you're doing graphic web applications development or you're doing progressive web apps and that kind of thing. So watch for that video. That's called Browser Sync. But for our purposes today, we just want some way to preview our stuff that is being served from a web server. Okay, one last little piece on this. Why not just open up the file from the web browser? Think about that for a second. The reason you can't do that is because there are certain technologies that do not work unless they are served from a web server up to a web browser. They have to be served, and that's why we want a server. One of those technologies that I used to use in private school game development camps is Phaser. Phaser.js will not work for security reasons unless it is served from a server. You cannot import or use JavaScript files in your games and stuff like that unless they're coming from a server. So that's why we want a server. We're going to go ahead and install it. Trust the workspace and install. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Make sure you understand the implications for yourself before you do what I'm doing here. So once this is on, it says new live server at activation, load time improved, show details. I don't know what that's about. I really don't care. If you wanted to disable it, you could. But now that it's installed, we can do some pretty cool things. So for example, you see, whoops, where is it? Where is the launch? Disable, uninstall. I think it's already on by default. It's been a while since I've used it, so hopefully I'll make the same mistakes you guys would make. Let's actually try it. So let's try to, we don't have a folder yet. Let's open a new folder on the desktop. I don't care. We'll call it, wait, this is desktop. So select folder. How about new folder? I know I'm on Windows. If you're on Mac, it's fine. If you're on Linux already, then you know what you're doing. So let's say, I don't know, game. No, we're not going to do game because that's going to make me... Okay, fine, we'll do game. Game. So we're going to click on game, go in here, select folder. So this then becomes your project, right? Trust the authors of the files in the parent folder of desktop. Yes, I do. This is new. They didn't have that before. Get started with VS Code. We don't need any of that. We can close that. So let's make a new file. And let's name the file index.html, which we'll cover that in a different video, but this is just how you get started. And actually, this is HTML. It's actually not HTML. And now you see that right there? That means it hasn't been saved yet. The first thing you might want to do is set up autosave. Turn this on. When autosave is on, anytime you make any changes, they'll be saved. This is some text. How about that? And let's see if I can see. I want to see if I can remember how to preview, which has been a while since I've done this. Where is it? Or there it is, down there. So is it covered up? It is covered up. So down in the bottom corner is Go Live. And you can click on Go Live. And it's like, do you want... Oh, my Lord. I'm so sorry. I apologize for the flashbang. That I apologize for the flashbang, but as you can see, it's changed it. This is some seriously bright text. All right, and then you see how it auto saved, and you Alt Tab, and you can go see a refresh, and it'll do it. Now, the downside of this, which is not as good as browser sync. When you use browser sync, it automatically changes it. You don't have to do a refresh. So there you go. You can just do the refresh there. And that is it, my friends. That is all there is to this. You just want to have LiveServer on. And I'm so sorry for the flashbangs on that video, but that's how you do that. That's how you do that. And the rest of this is going to be about how to do editing videos and stuff like that. Hello. So that's the end of that video.